Welcome yet another time. Lesson 4. Yes. First of all, tell me, how is it feeling? Today, earlier in the day, in the morning, we spoke about teaching who. And now we are going to take one more step up the ladder. So, how does it feel to know that your kid can learn language like any other kid? It's a great feeling, isn't it? Yes. If there is nothing else that I can change for a kid with autism, if I can only change this much, that the parent takes home this awareness that my kid can learn as good as any other child, provided I give that kind of support which is required for the child to learn, I think my job is done. Because if a parent goes back home with the awareness that my kid can learn, I need to know how to teach. Just this much, and the parent will devise their own ways. They probably don't even need me. With me, it'll be much faster because I've already walked the walk, and it'll be like reinventing the wheel. So they'll have easy access to information. But if they don't get me, and if they have the belief that my kid can learn if I can teach, I promise you, they will have a kid who will be as good as any other kid and capable. So, on that note, let's start with lesson 4. Where? Where is all about positions. Where cannot be taught in books until and unless you have done it in practical. Because what happens is when you convert a 3D into 2D, so if you look at a picture in a book, okay, let me show this picture to you to tell you what this picture means. What I mean when I say this. If you look at this picture, here, a child who has a visualization of this picture in 3D will know that this girl is not touching the softboard, right? And will know that these kids are slightly far away from these kids. But for a kid who doesn't understand, like again in this picture also, this child is not touching this piano table. That table is behind him, right? So for the kid to understand, and this is to the side, because they will correlate it to a picture that they have seen. And not a picture, they will correlate it to an actual they have seen, right? So if you take my room, and if somebody clicks a picture, and in the picture, if my hand is like this, and it shows like as if my hand is touching, the kid will not understand that I'm behind the table only by looking at the picture. So a 3D to 2D and 2D to 3D conversion doesn't really happen easily for children on the autism spectrum. So in that case, to teach aware, we need practical, tangible only to begin with. Once they get the mental picture, then it's much easier. So how do we start? This is how we start. Excuse me. So when we teach where, we start with one category. So let's say in. So we will pull out the drawer, take the ball, put it in the drawer. We say ball in drawer. We take a candy, we take a glass, we put the candy in the glass. Candy in glass. We take a burthen or a utensil and we put some water in it. Water in utensil. So like this, we take things and we put stuff inside and teach the concept of in. Now, once the child understands in, that's when we move to the pictures. And that's when we ask. We ask the child, okay, so for example, if you look at this picture alone, it's a different thing. This is a sequencing picture. But if you only look at this picture, flower in the pot. So then we ask after having taught. Yeah. Once they know in, then we talk about on. Okay. So like here, jelly or ice cream, whatever you like to call, in the glass. Okay. So then once the child knows in, then you move to on. So similarly, you do a lot of examples of on, and you do it on in practical. Okay. So book on table. Yeah. Pen on book. So you don't mix in and on, and you do a lot of practical, and you say, okay, child, put the pen on the green book. So if the child takes this and puts it on the green book, you know he's got it. Yeah. Then you ask the child, what did you do? And then you teach how to answer. You say, I put pen on book. So you also teach the child how to tell back what you did. Like this, you teach in, on, and under. To begin with, go easy on yourself and the kid. In, on, and under are good enough. You don't have to think about besides. Of course, we'll take them up, but not so soon. Right now, in, on, under are good to go. Now you move on to pictures. And now you ask, showing the pictures. Okay. Where are people standing? Standing on grass. Where are books? Books are on table. Similarly for under. So you pick up pictures and you get the kid to answer. So this is how you do a where. Now, the question of how do you teach a kid how to ask a where question? Teaching a kid how to ask a where question is very easy. Where is very need based. So you will contrive a situation. You will hide the child's toys, favorite toy or shoe or something that he would really look out for. And then you will say, first ask mama, where is my bag? Where is my toy? Where, if he says, is my shoes, don't mind. Don't confuse the kid with, no, say are. Because it's not yet the time to teach singular and plural. We will go very slow on the process. We will teach him later that these are more things, but one attempt and one variable. So right now we are going to talk about where is XYZ. Yeah, whatever. Once the kid masters it, asking that question to you, that's when you can take it forward with grammatical corrections. So this is how you will teach. So you will hide and then you will say, I will not help you to. So children are very smart. They will come and they will say, shoes, shoes, or they will say, shoes though, or give shoes. So you say, no, unless you ask me, I will not. Many parents, what they feel is, oh, he's conveyed what he had to know. So now why to get after his life? No, then how will he ask properly? These are the small things which we need to change at our end, which will bring about a difference. So even if your kid has asked you, shoes though, or give shoes, you say, ask me full thing. Ask me full thing or else I will not help. And say, where are my shoes? Mama, help. If the kid can do that much and you do it with 2, 3, 4 things, I promise you, the 5th thing, and you will jump with joy, your kid will turn around and say, where is my, I just said, where are my shoes? So if the kid is doing are, great. If not, where is my shoes? And that's okay. That's okay for now. Or where my shoes is also okay. Mama, help. So later on we'll refine it. So then you will be very happy if the kid comes back and then says, where my bottle? So the kid would have learnt that this is how I ask a where question. And then asking a where question and answering a where question, asking will be mostly need based and wanting to know about the whereabouts of a particular thing, whereas answering a where question will more to do with the position. So say for example like this picture, where is the boy? Boy is on the sofa. Where is the cat? Cat is on the sofa. Where is the pillow? Pillow is under boy's head. Like this. So like this, you teach the concept of where. In these videos, I'm telling you about tangible pictures and tangible situations. Once we finish the tangible ones, then I'll go to the intangible ones. And the intangible ones can look like, where do you think is this? A question like that. But that is for later. First, believe, try, work hard, work diligently, gather a lot of pictures from anywhere and everywhere, and see your kid bloom. May each kid win.